Right now, we're in the middle of a massive, almost invisible transformation of the internet. It's a high-stakes story about artificial intelligence, the search engines we all rely on, and a hidden war being fought for our attention. Welcome to the algorithmic siege. You've felt this, right? You search for something specific, a product review, maybe a recipe, or a fix for your laptop, and you just get page after page of results that look right, but they feel empty. It's this universal frustration, and let me tell you, you are not imagining it. There's actually a name for this low-quality, AI-generated stuff that's flooding our search results. They're calling it slop. And see, unlike the old-school spam that was just obvious gibberish, slop is way more sophisticated. It's designed to look helpful. It mimics the structure of a real article, but it's all just hallucinated filler. The AI hasn't actually tested the product. It definitely hasn't cooked the recipe. So how in the world did we get here? This isn't just a case of more spam. No, this is a fundamental shift in how search is being manipulated. We've stepped onto a new digital battlefield, and the rules have been completely rewritten. Think about it this way. The old war of SEO was all about deception. It was a human, a person, trying to outsmart a relatively simple algorithm with little tricks like invisible keywords. The new war? It's about overwhelming, brute force. Bad actors are using AI to generate millions of pages at a scale and speed that is just physically impossible for humans to even think about matching. And that brings us to the first major line of attack, the content flood. Google has a name for it, scaled content abuse, and it is by far the most visible tactic in this whole new war. This table really just says it all. Look at the volume column. We go from low to medium back in the day to literally infinite with AI. And the cost? It has absolutely plummeted from something moderate to basically nothing, just the price of an API call. And here's the kicker. The AI text is highly coherent, making it so much harder to spot than the broken English of old-school spam. So this all comes down to the economics. I mean, it's the crucial point. A high-quality article written by a human expert can cost hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars. But with AI, a spammer can crank out an article of the same length for fractions of a cent. This creates this massive, almost irresistible incentive to just churn out content, even if the websites get shut down in a few months. The operation is still wildly profitable. And don't think this is just some simple write me an article command. Oh no, it's a sophisticated four-step industrial process. First, they use algorithms to cluster thousands of related keywords. Second, they inject a persona, telling the AI to, write like a human or use personal anecdotes. Third, they use these variable templates to instantly create thousands of variations, best plumber in Boston, best plumber in Seattle. And finally, it's all published automatically. A human never, ever reviews it. The strategy behind all this is called index bloat, and the logic is purely statistical. It's a numbers game. If you create, say, 100,000 pages and only 1% of them actually manage to rank well, you still have 1,000 pages driving traffic and making you money. The websites themselves, they're treated like disposable ammunition in this massive war of numbers. Okay, but what if you don't want to build a disposable website from scratch? What if you could just use someone else's reputation? Well, that brings us to the second and much, much more subtle form of attack, hijacking trust. This is called parasite SEO. And honestly, the best way to think of it is like a digital cuckoo bird. A spammer publishes their AI-generated article, stuffed with affiliate links, on a big, trusted website. Think Reddit, Medium, even some news outlets. By doing that, their spammy little article inherits all the trust and ranking power of that host site, letting it rank almost instantly for really competitive keywords. The process is just brutally effective. An AI agent identifies a site with high authority. It generates some generic best of listicle packed with affiliate links, and then it just auto-posts the content, instantly inheriting years of trust that the host site built, bypassing all the hard work. A perfect example of this is astroturfing, especially on sites like Reddit. AI bots create entire fake conversations. They pose as real users to create this illusion of grassroots support for a product. They'll generate comments, they'll upvote each other, they'll downvote any real competitors, completely manipulating what we think is a genuine human discussion. And if you thought that was bad, well, the attacks get even darker. We've talked about flooding the index and hijacking trust. Now, let's talk about pure, unadulterated digital sabotage. This is called negative SEO, and it is the most malicious tactic of them all. The goal here isn't to promote your own website. No, the goal is to get your competitor's website penalized or even completely removed from search results by making it look like they're the ones breaking all the rules. And the impact can be absolutely catastrophic. In one real-life case, a site called gaming.net was hit by an attack that built 47,000 toxic backlinks in just 3 weeks. The result? A devastating 90% drop in their organic traffic, just gone. And these attacks go way beyond just toxic links. They can use AI to scrape a competitor's content, republish it all over the web, and then use some technical tricks, that's the canonical hijacking, to convince Google their stolen copy is the original one. Even more terrifying is brand hallucination, where they flood the web with fake negative content to poison the very data that AI models are trained on, essentially teaching an AI that your brand is a scam. Okay, so with all of these attacks going on, it sounds pretty bleak, right? But what's actually being done to defend the integrity of the web? The good news is, there is a coordinated counteroffensive underway. This fight is happening on two main fronts. In March of 2024, Google launched a massive algorithm update specifically designed to target all this AI-generated slop. And at the same time, on the regulatory side, the FTC has now finalized rules that officially make generating fake AI reviews a violation of federal law. So, how do these new algorithms actually work? Well, the new guiding principle is a concept called information gain. Search engines are now actively trying to reward content that provides something new, unique data, original photography, genuine first-hand experience. Basically, they're trying to reward the things that a language model, which is only trained on existing data, simply cannot create on its own. But of course, this is an arms race, so the spammers evolve. The next frontier is something being called agentic SEO. We're talking about AI agents that don't just write content anymore, they act. They can simulate human behavior, searching keywords, scrolling right past competitors, clicking on a target site, and mimicking reading patterns, all to fool ranking systems into thinking a site is way more popular than it actually is. And all of this leads to one absolutely crucial realization. With the rise of negative SEO, data poisoning, and these new agentic attacks, SEO is no longer just a marketing discipline, not even close. It is now a core cybersecurity discipline. Protecting your digital presence is as much about firewalls and bot detection as it is about keywords and content. So this all leaves us with one final and pretty profound question. In this new landscape where AI can write and act and deceive on a massive scale, the single most valuable signal of all is authenticity. Because if we lose that, the internet stops being a source of knowledge and just becomes a distorted mirror, reflecting only synthetic, empty versions of what it already knows. The whole battle for the future of the web might just come down to this one very simple yet incredibly complex challenge. In the age of AI, how do we prove we're human?